I want to begin with a question the market rarely asks out loud. What becomes of a city when culture gets invited to the ribbon cutting but never handed a key? Because too often artistry is welcome like weather, pleasant while shooting the breeze, expendable once the construction dries fountains of knowledge of historic neighborhood streets. Meanwhile, a developer can point at square footage, a lender can point at projections, a politician can point at charts, but the poet points at the barber who keeps young men alive with 27 minutes of conversation in a taper. The painter points at the carryout owner who knows which teenager stopped smiling 3 Thursdays ago. The drummer points at the go-go pocket holding the city together tighter than legislation ever could. That is economy too. Not merely currency circulation. Not merely capital continuation. Because a business district without cultural identity is just a receipt with streetlights. And we know what happens when neighborhoods become allergic to their own fingerprints. The food changes first, then the music leaves, then the porches become vacated by aunties congregating, then the children start speaking about home like it belongs to a previous tenant. I came here today not merely to praise creativity like it is some decorative garnish sprinkled atop commerce. No, art is infrastructure. A poem can reroute grief. A mural can interrupt vandalism. A dance class can lower the temperature of a whole summer. A recording studio can redirect somebody 5 minutes before catastrophe introduces itself. Yet every budget season, art gets questioned like joy itself needs credentials, as if entire economies are not built off imagination, as if somebody didn't sketch this very district before concrete entered the conversation. So without further ado, welcome to MLK Avenue, where the pavement hums with a frequency you cannot mass produce. We are gathered at the intersection of inspiration and enterprise, tasked with proving that a neighborhood can prosper without pushing out the people who gave it a pulse. Never gaze at a creator and assume we only play with palettes. We are the engineers of the human gambit. Our breath is the engine of the local economy. When you hear a go-go beat rattling painters' buckets, that is the sound of commerce breathing in artisanal autonomy. That is the sound of a district refusing to be erased. To the policymakers, the lenders, the stakeholders in this room, your capital is looking for a home and our culture is the ultimate stoop. Bring your investments, but bring your respect. Partner with the locals who kept the block vibrant when the budgets were stretched, but I digress. So today, while we gather inside this summit with policy experts, investors, organizers, architects, educators, cultural workers, I pray we do more than discuss sustainability like it is a fashionable buzzword wearing expensive shoes. I pray we build districts where local creators can afford to remain long enough to become elders too. Where children can inherit more than displacement notices on the doors, where mixed-use development includes mixed memory, where jazz clubs do not vanish for luxury, gyms with motivational quotes on the walls, where ownership enters the vocabulary alongside opportunity. Because if culture generates tourism, if culture generates nightlife, if culture generates identity, if culture generates revenue, then culture deserves equity through and through. Permanent equity, not seasonal invitations to pop-ups anew, not honorary mentions a la photo ops with ops just passing through. Permanent equity. And DC, beloved, complicated, marvelous DC, you already contain the blueprint people attempt to imitate. Go-Go taught entire generations how to make abundance from limited equipment. Mumble sauce turned regional flavor into civic mythology. And Agostia kept producing brilliance while the nation kept practicing selective eyesight. So perhaps the future of urban development is not hidden inside Silicon Valley presentations. Perhaps it lives right here inside storefront galleries, open mics, community gardens, youth workshops, corner stores carrying decades of oral history without a single microphone. Perhaps prosperity has been standing on this side of the river the entire time, waiting, not for rescue, for investment with integrity, for collaboration without extraction, for leadership mature enough to understand that culture is not an accessory to economic impact. Culture is the economic impact. And if we build correctly, with humanity centered ahead of vanity, then one day, children walking through these arts and cultural districts won't merely inherit buildings. They'll inherit belonging. Welcome to the Arts and Economic Impact Solutions Summit. The microphone is live. The future is funded. Let us begin.